All right, let's talk about something we all know and, well, mostly hate. That mountain of paperwork. You know what I'm talking about. The receipts, the invoices, the expense reports. It's that soul-crushing admin work that just feels like a black hole for your time and energy.
I mean, really, take a second and think about it. What's that one task you'll do anything to avoid? Is it typing numbers from a PDF into a spreadsheet one by one, chasing down signatures, trying to figure out a crumpled receipt from 3 weeks ago? We all have one.
Well, for years, that's been the big promise, right? But it feels like now, with this new generation of AI, we're actually at the tipping point where that promise is becoming reality. So let's break down how this whole thing actually works.
To really get where we're going, we have to look at where we've been. Because, we've tried to automate this stuff before, but the old tools, they hit a wall, and they hit it pretty hard.
For a long time, the go-to solution was something called robotic process automation, or RPA. And look, these software bots were pretty good at one thing: automating super simple, super repetitive jobs, like copying data from here and pasting it over there.
See, on the left, you've got traditional RPA. Think of it like a puppet. It just mimics clicks. If a button on a website moves an inch or a receipt is crumpled, the whole thing just breaks. But on the right, you have intelligent automation. And this is a whole different ballgame. It doesn't just mimic, it understands. It can look at a messy invoice, figure out what's what, and actually learn when it gets something wrong. So, what's the secret sauce in this new intelligent approach? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a powerful toolkit of a few key technologies that are all working together.
First up, you've got Intelligent Document Processing, or IDP. Now, this is not your grandpa's OCR tech that just turned a picture into text. No, IDP is way, way smarter. It reads an invoice and it knows, okay, this number here is the date. This string of text is the vendor's name, and that number at the bottom, that's the total. It gets the context.
You can really think of it as a huge evolution. Traditional OCR is just one tiny piece of this puzzle. IDP takes that, but then it adds all these layers of AI to really understand what the document is about. It's the difference between just reading the words on a page and actually understanding what the story is.
The other game changer here is generative AI, powered by those large language models we're all hearing so much about. Now, if IDP is the set of eyes that reads the document, think of generative AI as the brain that makes the decision. It takes all that info from the IDP and actually reasons about it, checking it against company policy, and flagging weird stuff that a simple bot would just completely miss.
Okay, so the theory is cool, but let's make this real. We're going to walk through a case study from Samsung SDS, where they decided to automate what might be the most hated task in corporate America: the expense report.
They broke the whole process down into 4 really clear stages. It kicks off with recognizing the document, then classifying everything based on company rules, then handling any weird one-offs, and finally, and this is key, bringing a person in to make the final call.
So let's trace the whole journey here. An employee snaps a picture of a receipt and uploads it. The IDP reads it and pulls out all the key data. The system then checks it against all the normal pre-approved expenses. But if it's something weird, it gets sent to a large language model for a recommendation. And finally, someone on the finance team gets this beautiful, clean, pre-analyzed report and just has to give the final okay. The whole thing is designed to be totally seamless.
And the results? They are staggering. An 80% reduction in processing time. Just let that sink in for a second. A task that used to eat up hours and hours of someone's day now takes just a tiny fraction of that time. We're not talking about a small improvement here. This is a revolutionary leap.
Now, all of this sounds incredible, right? But it also brings up a really, really important question. When you have this much power and automation, how do you make sure these systems are being fair and safe and ethical?
Because let's be honest, you can't just unleash these powerful tools without some serious thought about the consequences. Trust is everything, and you have to build that trust on a really solid foundation of rules and guardrails.
And that's exactly what companies like SAP are doing, with really clear AI ethics policies. And these aren't just, nice ideas, they're mandatory principles. They focus on crucial things like fairness, to make sure the AI isn't accidentally biased, and transparency, so it's not some mysterious black box. And probably most important, always keeping a human in a position of oversight, so a person makes the final critical decision. And they put this into practice with a tiered, risk-based system. So low-risk stuff like a simple chatbot gets standard oversight. But high-risk applications, say an AI that assists with hiring or performance reviews, that has to go through a super strict ethics committee.
And then there are the red line uses, like AI-powered employee surveillance, and those are just, nope, flat out prohibited.
Which brings us to what might be the single most important idea in this whole shift. And that's the new relationship, the new partnership between people and AI.
You have to get this. The goal here is not to replace people. It's to augment them. The whole idea is for the AI to become this incredible assistant that handles the 80% of work that's tedious and repetitive, which frees up the human experts to focus on the 20% that requires creativity, strategy, and critical judgment.
So here's how this human-in-the-loop thing actually works in practice. The system is just humming along, processing all the normal stuff, and then, bam, it hits an expense it's never seen before. Instead of guessing and maybe making a huge mistake, it flags it and sends a task to a person on the finance team. It basically raises its hand and says, hey, I need your expert opinion on this. That finance expert then gets a notification, sees this super clean interface with the AI's best guess and all the info they need. They can quickly look at it, make the final call, and approve it literally with a single click. The human always has the final say.
But here's the magic. That human decision, it isn't just a one-time fix. As the researchers in the study put it, that decision feeds right back into the system. The AI learns from the human expert's judgment. It creates what they call a virtuous cycle. So the next time the AI sees something similar, it knows exactly what to do. The system literally gets smarter every single time a person interacts with it.
And that leaves us with one last big idea to chew on. We spend so much time talking about AI taking jobs, but maybe, just maybe, we're asking the wrong question. As these systems become less like tools and more like partners, what if the most valuable skill any of us can have is knowing how to teach, manage, and collaborate with our new, incredibly smart, and ridiculously efficient AI colleagues?